Welcome to Horror and Monster Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at this brand new, the original Spawn action figure and comic that was remastered for 2020. Todd McFarlane joined with Kickstarter to deliver an updated version of the original Spawn action figure and comic from 1995. I ordered this, I think about like on May or so of 2020. I've been waiting a while, but it is worth the wait. It is the autographed Classic Spawn campaign, hand signed by Todd. It has the classic costume with mask, folding cape, weapons, 20 movable parts, original comic book cover with new cover art by Todd, and a resealable clamshell with collector box and cover. So let's go ahead and spin this thing around and take a closer look because I am stoked. All right, so after we remove the slipcover, this is the collector box that we find inside. And we have some certs here. Here we have the Masterworks cert, signed by Todd. Set that aside. And here is a checklist of everything that it comes with. I'm gonna put it up here so you guys can pause and read. But basically you can see all of the upgrades over the original 1994 Spawn. Then inside the box, we have this layout, which is done really well. And inside, we'll pull everything out, but we'll find the attachable Necro Energy Burst for a hand, foil stamped comic book cover, extra pair of hands to hold guns, extra pair of fisted hands, extra head of painted Screaming Head, steel chains for the waist, steel chains for the neck, exclusive assault weapon, and that's just for this figure only, and exclusive painted Necro Sword. So let's go ahead and pull everything out. So here's everything out of the packaging, most notably the resealable clamshell. I know you guys are waiting to see this, so let's go ahead and spin this around real quick, and then I promise we will open all of this up. So finally, you guys have been patient and everything is out of the clamshell. So let's go ahead and jump into Spawn himself first. Take a closer look at old Mr. Spawn. Get in focus for you guys. Obviously, he is styled like the original figure, but with additional joints and movement. Let's start up here. Obviously the cape is fixed in place, but we do have joints here on the cape to open and close. So it does fold in. Here is a good look at the back of the cape. In the classic Todd styling. We'll open up the cape out of the way a little bit here and focus on the figure. Now up on top we have a ball joint at the base of the head, and then we also have an additional ball joint at the base of the neck, which allows for lots of movement and rotation. Really, you're only limited by the cape. That's about the only thing that's kind of keeping you from getting additional movement out of there, but the figure itself has lots and lots of movement. Do the shoulder, which is on a ball ratchet joint. Then we do have a bicep swivel here, which is kind of hard to articulate, but we want it tight anyway for posability, but it does move. And then we have a elbow joint that again is on a ratchet and allows for 90 degrees of bend. There is also a swivel here hidden at the elbow, I don't know if you guys can see or not, but we have swivel movement there. Then we will come down to the wrist that has a swivel, allow for full rotation, and then a great hinge joint here that allows for 90 degrees of articulation. Let's go ahead and take a look at the detail here on the hand. The paint job on this figure is top notch. Very, very clean application. I don't see this on $600 statues or $5,000 statues actually. So kudos to Todd for knocking this out of the park. Let's focus on the chest sculpt. Now we do have a metal chain for his cape. Come down here through the bicep on here. Now this is also the same movement on the other hand, so I'm not going to do this arm as well. It's already going to be a long review for you guys. But the tone and shading on here looks badass. Let's come down here to the waist and we will focus on movement. So we have full rotation on the waist and lots of movement here as far as pitch. Which allows for lots of dynamic poses. We'll come down here. We have again metal chain on the waist. Bend everything out of the way. And we go through hip movement, which we have lots of articulation in that direction. A ratchet style again, which I like because it holds its place. We have 90 degrees up front, 90 degrees up back. We have a swivel in the hip. Coming down here, you will notice a double jointed knee with ratchet style. And it allows for lots of articulation all the way back. And the joint is also well hidden. Let's come back down here through the leg, which we have a shin swivel. And then we have a really, really well done ratchet ankle. I don't know if we have pitch though, or roll. We do not, but we do have lots of articulation through there and then also through the toes, which allows nearly 90 degrees, well, no, 90 degrees all the way up, so he can lay his foot all the way down. And that about covers Mr. Spawn here. Not a whole lot going on back underneath here. Not that we could see through the cape anyway. But just really, really, really well done. The joints all move without too much effort, but they hold their positioning well. So we will set him aside and focus on the next. Now I'm not going to go through all of the swap outs. I'll show you everything, but since this is a collector's figure, I'm not going to go and pull out a bunch of joints for you guys. This is the signed plaque, signed obviously by Todd, which makes for a great display in front of the figure. If you choose to have the figure displayed out of the box, I will probably have him in the box though. Here is the figure stand with the record setting action figure on here. Record setting in the terms of Kickstarter, obviously. We have the foil stamped comic book. Now we will look at this in a minute. I want to go through the pages of this because it has, it's like a director's cut here where it has a bunch of cool notes from Todd on the comic and his thoughts on it. So we will just set that aside and we'll go through all of that page by page in a moment. Here is the exclusive assault weapon. This is the only figure with this assault weapon. Again, there was 3 figures released on this Kickstarter campaign. So there was the classic, the modern, and artist proof. I went with the classic because it's the figure that I got way back in the day, and the one that I was drawn to most. I should have got the 3-pack, but I did not. So this is the exclusive for the classic Spawn campaign. Here we go, the painted screaming head, which just looks incredible. Again, the detailing on here is just stunning. All of the texture and sculpt work is obviously top notch, and the paint application is great. I would display him with the screaming head personally. Of course, can't forget about this guy. Gnarly piece. Now this is all made of like I would assume like a PVC, so it has some movement here, but it's a pretty hard durometer. Now we have the attachable Necro Energy Burst in a badass translucent fluorescent green. Obviously that sits into his hand. And then we have the exclusive Necro Sword. Now my only complaint about this figure thus far is that this sword, because it's made of a very pliable soft durometer PVC, that it does bend a lot, and it was warped in the packaging. The foam that it was stuffed in was tight, so it was kind of bent up like that. But it is easy to bend back into shape and reshape. But that is the exclusive Necro Sword. Let's look at the pair of weapon holding hands. Again, awesome detail work here. Let's get the other guy here. It is the same right and left. Pretty sure it's the same sculpt, it's just reversed, which it is. And then we have the closed fist holding hands. Right and left. And of course he comes with the open hands displayed on him. So let's go ahead and take a look at the comic. Now the comic, I think the best way to do this, I'm just going to open up through the pages and I will let you guys pause to read. I know this review is taking a long time, but there's a lot here and a lot to digest. So I kind of want to make sure that I go over everything with you, because this is absolutely going to be a highly sought after figure in the future. And I love Todd's commentary here. I will take the time to read through it all. I've glanced at some of his comments, which is super insightful on his thoughts at the time. And this is just such a kick-ass inclusion. All right, guys, so that's about all there is to go over on this piece. It is an incredible set from Todd. It was a record-setting Kickstarter campaign. They set 2 records, and I mean, the outpouring of support was phenomenal. They had 23,000 backers, and it earned over $3.4 million, which is pretty incredible for a action figure. This set is just absolutely incredible. I love all the resealable packaging, so you can take it out and enjoy it, and then also put it back up in a collector state. I will leave it in the collector's box just because I'm a collector, and I think that I love the box art that it has, so I think that'll look great on my shelf. These guys are going to be insanely sought after in the future. I promise you that they will jump up in value real quick. Again, this was $80 to back the campaign for this figure, and they had the 3 figures, as I mentioned earlier, the classic, modern, and artist proof. You could buy the 3-pack bundle, which a lot of people did. I just popped on this, and I am so glad I did. I am so glad that Todd is back in form and putting out just great figures again. I feel like through the years he's really fallen off, especially, you know, I'm speaking to this mainly not on the comic book side of things, but on the horror side of things. I would really like to see a return to form of the late 90s. McFarlane Toys was putting out they had the best licenses, and they were just putting out kick-ass figures. I still have pretty much all of those figures. And then I think it was somewhere about 20 years ago, NECA had taken some artists from Spawn, or not from Spawn, but from Todd. And I think that the horror stuff kind of really fell off after that, and NECA became what they are today. And NECA is the one currently killing it as far as the horror side of things. And I would just really love for Todd to decide that he doesn't want to take that anymore, and to fight back with the quality that he was putting out back in the day. But, you know, fast forward to 25 years later, where there's a whole bunch more advanced techniques and joints and stuff like that, and we could just get so much better figures. I love NECA, but I would love to see a return to form from McFarlane. So as always, feel free to leave any questions or comments that you have on the piece, and I'll be happy to answer them. And also feel free to like and subscribe, and click the bell for notifications for new videos. And until next time, I will see you guys later.